You know, there's an old quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Hard work makes up in talent what they lack in skill. What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the DNG podcast, the Driven Not Given podcast. And we're going to be talking about sales and salespeople today. You know, there's an old quote that says, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I got to tell you, man, that is so true. Have you ever seen somebody that hit it big, had a run with a company or a certain career path or a certain business, did very good, and then he or she couldn't duplicate it again? I've seen that many times. Matter of fact, I used to have a partner like that. I call it the Bundy Syndrome, right? These people go out and they start thinking about what they did back in 2001, what they did back in 2010, or whatever the case may be, right? And a lot of times it's because their ego gets in the way. Because here's the deal. I had a mentor a long time ago and he shared with me, he says, JC, here's the deal. There's A players, B players, and C players. In the direct sales world is what we're referring to. The A players are the ones that are making or have made 10 grand a month consistently and up. 10, 15, 20, 100,000. Those are the A players. The B players are the ones that are making under 10,000, more around 4, 5, 6,000. And then you got the C players are the ones that haven't really made a lot of money. They don't have a whole lot of skills. They're just trying to figure their way through. He said to me, the B players a lot of times have right around the same experience and skill set as the A players. A lot of times it's a very small difference, if any. The difference is that the B players are still willing to be coachable. They're still willing to have that work ethic. They're still willing to have that grit. A lot of these A players, they are drinking their own juice, right? They're believing their own hype because they think to themselves, well, look at my resume. Look how much money I made with this career. Look how much money I made with this company. Look what I did here. Look what I. But here's the deal. Success doesn't care about what you did in the past. Success cares about what you're doing today. So their ego gets in the way, and guess what? They're not very coachable. They don't have the work ethic. They want things given to them. Man, this podcast is called Driven Not Given because life doesn't give you anything. Success isn't something that's just going to be brought to you because of the stuff that you did in the past. And so I want to talk about these salespeople. So let me give you an example. Let's take a real estate agent. We could all relate to real estate agents, right? Everybody knows a real estate agent or two. Let's take a real estate agent that is a novice. Sharp young man, let's say he's 22 years old, 23 years old, sharp young man or woman that is eager and hungry, motivated, willing to take notes, willing to learn, right? Then you've got the veteran, 33-year-old, 32-year-old, 35-year-old, has been making six figures a year, maybe even 150,000, 200,000, multiple six figures. The young guy, young eager guy comes in, guess what? He doesn't have the talent, right? But he has a hard work. He's got the discipline, the coachability. The other guy has a talent and experience, but doesn't have the grit, doesn't have the work ethic, has too big of an ego to be coachable. So the first guy, because I would much rather take hard work over talent, because hard work that is coachable, you can teach them to get the talent. Because in the business that I'm in the direct sales business. I hire, train, and develop salespeople. And what we sell is we sell solar and roofs. And we make a lot of money for doing that. And we make overrides on the teams that we build. But here's the deal. You take guy A, guy B. Guy A is a young guy, hungry, coachable, etc. Guy B is the opposite. Guy A shows up to the office. And when he shows up to the office, guess what? He shows up early, shows up with a great attitude. He's dressed sharp. He's eager to get into his day. He's eager about his career. When the trainings are happening at his office, he's sitting front row or in his desk, taking notes, being coachable. Guy B, he's like, oh, I've already made six figures. I'm Mr. Six Figures. Don't you see my nice suit? I'm Mr. Six Figures. So guess what? He gets there late. He gets up in the middle of the training and he goes, grabs a coffee, chit-chats with some people, sits down while they're doing a training, right? Let's say they're doing a listing presentation, something that pertains to real estate. He's not taking notes. He's looking at his phone, sending a text, looking at IG, and paying attention occasionally, right? This other guy's doing the opposite. Now, here's what happens. When it's time to make phone calls, this guy, maybe he could get, let's just pick a number, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 people that he sits down with, he gets the sale. Let's call it the listing, right? For easy terms, let's call it the sale. The other guy is a new guy, doesn't have the experience. He fumbles a lot, he makes a lot of mistakes, but he's eager. And he's willing to make up in numbers what he lacks in skill. That's a key. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Therefore, hard work makes up in talent what they lack in skill. Let me prove it to you. This guy goes out there for the month, does 10 presentations, gets 9. I'm not saying these are normal numbers in real estate. I'm just using this as an example. Does 10 presentations, gets 9. This other guy does 10 presentations, gets 1. Those are his ratios, 10%, 90%. But if they have a contest, this guy can beat this guy. Why? Because this guy is doing significantly more activity. He's being more productive. He's not standing up in the middle of making phone calls or door knocking or whatever they're doing to go take a lunch break, a 1 hour lunch break, 2 hour lunch break. He's not getting up to take so many coffee breaks, so many water breaks. This other guy is. So after 30 days, this guy sat down with 10 and got 9. This guy sat down with 100 and got 10. The rookie beat the veteran. Why? Because hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. This happens with fighters a lot as well. Let's look at Conor McGregor, for example. Conor McGregor started his career fast. The first double champ in the UFC, biggest star currently in the world of mixed martial arts, the world of MMA. Now, the guy's worth over $100 million, easy. But when he was hungry and excited about a $50,000 fight of the night bonus, guess what? He was in the gym a lot more. He wasn't out getting in trouble. He wasn't out getting drunk and all of this ruckus that he's got going on. But I forgot who it was. It was a famous boxer. I think it was Joe Frazier. He says, it's hard to wake up at 4 a.m. to go run at 4 a.m. when you're waking up in silk sheets. Meaning, when you've already made the money, you're more comfortable, right? That happens to salespeople. They get comfortable. They also get comfortable in their own success. They believe their own hype, and they forget that the number one asset that they had was their willingness to work, their willingness to put in that grind, willingness to be coachable, right? Now they developed an ego. They're not willing to work as hard. This happens to a lot, and that's why they'll plateau. That's why people go from bad to good. They don't realize that good is the enemy of great. People are like, oh, 6-figure income, 120,000. They used to make 40,000 back in the days before they got in sales. Now they're making 120,000, but guess what? They've been making the same 120,000 for the last 5 years, 10 years. Why? Because good is an enemy of great. So because they're doing good, they don't go to great. They forget that what got them to the dance is, guess what? Hitting the pavement, making more sales calls, not making excuses, being coachable. Now their ego gets in the way. Why? Because they got a little bit more money in their pockets. They're comfortable, right? Same thing that happens to fighters. It reminds me, I had a partner back in like 2010, man, 2009, 8, right around there. And this guy back in 2001, he had made more money in his life than he had ever made before and more money than he's ever made now. And it's called catching lightning in a bottle is the term that they use. He was making $100,000 a month in his 20s, driving a Lamborghini, him and his brother. And his ego, I've never met a person with a bigger ego than that person. The funny thing is that when his ego was so high and I met him, he wasn't making that kind of money. Till this day today, it's 2022. That was 21 years ago. The guy still talks about what he did back in 2001. That's called the Bundy Syndrome. For any of you guys, I'm dating myself, any of you guys that ever watched Married with Children back in the day, Al Bundy used to always talk about the good old days when he was a quarterback in high school and he threw the winning touchdown, something like that. Reminiscing about back in the days. Let me tell you something, man. Winners don't spend a whole lot of time reminiscing. You know what I mean? They spend time on, hey, how can I get better and do better now? What I did in the past is cool, but what I'm doing now and what I'm going to do in the future is better. A sure sign of somebody that's not winning in life is somebody that's dwelling on two things. Dwelling on the negative things that happened to him in the past and dwelling on the good things that happened in the past, the good old days from the past. Those are two things, for sure. The most successful people in the world, they focus on, hey, what am I going to do now? What am I doing now? What am I going to do in the future? What am I doing now? What am I going to accomplish in the future? They're not looking back at what they did way back then. So in closing, as we mentioned a few times, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. When you go out there, this is some advice that I'm going to give to some of you guys that are in sales, whether you've been in sales recently you got into sales recently or you've been in sales for a long time, this is some good advice. Don't stop growing. Don't stop doing the things that got you to the dance. You put in that hard work. That hard work is going to generate success. And you've got to rack up a couple of wins, even if they're small wins, right? I tell my brother just got into the solar business. I said, you're prospecting a lot and you're going to get a lot of leads and only a few of them are going to sit down. And out of those few, some of them are going to buy. This is just the nature of the business. Don't expect for it to be easy, but it will be worth it. But you've got to be able to put in that work continuously over an extended period of time. And as you put in all of that hard work, guess what else you develop? You develop experience and you develop skills. Experience and skills, contacts, your network grows. Before you know it, putting in all of this hard work, now that hard work is making you those commissions, making you that bigger income. And then the referrals start to come in. The people that 6 months ago, a year ago, were not giving you the business, all of a sudden, they're ready to do business with you. Here's what they're going to do. Most people are going to go out there, those that do end up achieving a little bit of success, they're going to go and achieve a little bit of success. And then when they achieve a little bit of success, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get in their comfort zone. Their ego's going to get too big, and that's when they're going to plateau. And very few people go from this to plateau to eventually growing again. Because when they plateau, it's because their ego's too big. So you got to get rid of your ego. There's an old saying, your ego's not your amigo. And don't get me wrong, listen, I've got an ego too. I try to check it as much as I can. But hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard, I still work hard. Here's what I do though. I work 4 days a week. I work about 30 hours a week approximately, maybe 32 hours a week. That's what I work. I don't work that much. The time that I do work is very strong work ethic. But guess what? I also have personal assistants and project managers that do the work for me. I've got a personal recruiter and a personal salesperson that handles my sales, that handles my leads. Because what I do is, this is another thing that the mistake that salespeople make. When they start making some money, let's say it's 100,000, right? Which is not a lot of money, but let's say it's 100,000. They were making 40,000. They're making 60,000 now. And they start to have that scarcity mindset where they start to guard this little money that they're making. Instead of, hey, bro, you're making an extra $5,000, $6,000 a month more than you used to before. Instead of just guarding that money or spending it on stupid things, on liabilities, on trying to impress people that don't even like you to begin with, for the gram, why don't you take some of that money and invest it and put some overalls on that money? For example, I know some salespeople, real estate, insurance, solar, where they clearly need, even guys on my team, I'm like, bro, you're doing so much business. You're making more money than you've ever made before. Why the hell don't you have a full-time assistant, bro? You got to invest back in your business, but they have a scarcity mindset. No, your money is supposed to make you more money. You're supposed to work yourself out of a job, right? The stuff that I used to do in the beginning of my career is not the stuff that I do now. I don't do $20 an hour stuff, $30 an hour stuff. I don't do that stuff, right? And these are things that I developed over time. So anyways, I kind of got off into a little bit of a different subject, which is another video in and of itself that I'm going to do soon. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video on why hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. With that being said, I'll see you guys at the top or from the top. Take care.